Here are all the Chelsea players who are officially registered on Transfermarkt. Update. Friday, the 28th of June 2024. Number of players, 33. Average over, 23.6. Goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez, 26 years. Georgi Petrovic, 24 years. Kepa Arrizabalaga, 29. Returns after loan to Real Madrid. Gabriel Slonina, 20 years old. Returns after being rented to CAS UPenn. Marcus Bettinelli, 32 years. Lucas Bergstrom, 21 years old, returns after loan to Broma Pokarna. Defender, Levi Colwill, 21 years. Axel Disasi, 26 years. Benoit Badiashile, 23 years. Wesley Fofana, 23 years. Tosin Adarabioyo, 26 years, new player signed from Fulham. Trevoh Chalobah, 24 years old. Alfie Gilchrist, 20 years. Malang Sarr, 25 years. Ian Matson, 22, returns after loan to Dortmund. Ben Chilwell, 27 years old. Marc Cucurella, 25 years old. Reche James, 24 years old. Malo Gusto, 21 years old. Midfielder, Moises Caicedo, 22 years old. Romeo Lavia, 20 years old. Leslie Ugochukwu, 20 years old. Enzo Fernandez, 23 years old. Conor Gallagher, 24 years old. Andre Santos, 20, returns after a loan spell at Strasbourg. Carney Chukwuemeka, 20 years old. Cesare Casade, 21 years old. Cole Palmer, 22 years old. Attacker, Christopher Nkunku, 26 years old. Raheem Sterling, 29 years old. Mikhailo Mudryk, 23 years old. Diego Moreira, 19 years old. Noni Madueke, 22 years old. Angelo Gabriel, 19, returns after a loan spell at Strasbourg. Hakim Ziyech, 31, returns after being loaned to Galatasaray. Omari Hutchinson, 20, returns after a loan spell at Ipswich Town. Nicholas Jackson, 23 years old. Romelu Lukaku, 31 years old, returns after being loaned to AS Roma. Armando Broja, 22, returns after being loaned to Fulham. David Datro Fofana, 21, returns after a loan spell at Burnley. David Washington, 19 years old. Okay guys, that's the latest update for the Chelsea squad. Roy Keane says that Gareth Southgate is now under enormous pressure to include Chelsea star Cole Palmer in their Euro 2024 last 16 tie. Roy Keane believes that Palmer has done more than enough to force his way into the first team. Keane told ITV Sport, "Southgate will be under a lot of pressure to play Palmer in the next game because he came on tonight and affected the game. They struggled to get that flow of the game. But they kept a clean sheet and some young players came in tonight, and maybe that was the right way. I always say with young players, they are not afraid. Sometimes you have to dare to play them." Cole Palmer scored 27 goals in all competitions in his debut season with the Blues, but was only an unused substitute in England's first 2 games in the Premier League. Group C Euro 2024 against Serbia and Denmark. In the final group match, the Three Lions appeared sluggish in a goalless draw against Slovenia. Having difficulty creating opportunities, the 22-year-old player was brought on from the bench after 70 minutes to replace Bukayo Saka. Palmer and Kobbie Mainoo, introduced after half-time for Conor Gallagher, were England's brightest after the introduction of Anthony Gordon. Another substitute, now also pushing for a starting spot, set up the Chelsea star for a chance which had the potential to win the match in extra time, but Jan Oblak managed to thwart it. Despite failing to score late in the match, Palmer appears to have put himself in a strong position to start the next game, which will be a last 16 tie in Gelsenkirchen on Sunday. Cole Palmer's reaction to hearing what Roy Keane said about him. Cole Palmer responded to Roy Keane's rather flattering analysis of his performance as a substitute in England's 0-0 draw with Slovenia at Euro 2024. After the match, former Ireland international Roy Keane praised the 21-year-old and believes he can be key for England to win, reverse their fate. The Chelsea star was then made aware of Keane's comments at full time and clearly felt a little irritated with himself. "Yeah, you know that's always nice to hear, especially coming from someone like Roy Keane, who has played internationally and at Man United, so it's nice to hear that," explained Palmer. Palmer also reacted to the possibility of being named in the starting 11 for England's last 16 tie on Sunday by saying, "But obviously now it's up to the manager what he wants to do." Chelsea's plans for Cole Palmer's position next season. The Athletic claims that Palmer is the only Chelsea striker guaranteed to start for the club. It was explained that the Blues plan to use the 22-year-old star more often in the central number 10 position next season. The report states that Noni Madueke will be left to battle for a starting position on the right wing. Palmer played effectively from the right for most of his Chelsea debut. However, he always had a tendency to look for the ball and naturally move towards the center of the pitch. Chelsea Chronicle is pleased to hear Palmer will be deployed more frequently in midfield under new head coach Enzo Maresca. There's no doubt that Palmer surprised everyone last year, but you can be sure that opposing teams will be well informed on him for any game next season. We'll learn next year just how good the offensive playmaker is. From what we have seen so far at Chelsea in terms of consistency and composure, he will be up to the challenge. While it is disappointing that Palmer will no longer be working under Mauricio Pochettino, who certainly got the best out of him during his year together, he has an advantage over most of his teammates as he previously worked with Maresca at Manchester City. Chelsea have made an approach to sign Nottingham Forest defender Murillo, according to reports in Brazil. Enzo Maresca's side are looking for a new centre-back following the departure of Thiago Silva, and have signed 19-year-old Boca Juniors defender Aaron Anselmino. However, Chelsea are also looking for a defender who can immediately compete for a place in the first team, and Murillo fits the club's profile after an impressive debut season at Forest. The 21-year-old joined the Premier League in a £15 million deal from Brazilian club Corinthians last August, and was one of Forest's standout players last season as they narrowly avoided relegation. According to Brazilian outlet UOL, Chelsea have now approached Forest to discuss a deal for Murillo, but the club are demanding a £50 million fee for the centre-back. It is reported that Chelsea have told Forest they will not match their valuation, and are considering offering 2 players as part of their bid to offset the transfer fee. Atletico Madrid have also expressed a strong interest in signing Murillo, and have held talks with the defender's representatives. However, the Spanish club are also hampered by Forest's £50 million asking price. Chelsea are being pushed to make a £50 million transfer decision. There has been much transfer speculation in the media that he is one of the players the club are very open to releasing at the end of the season, with the likes of Tottenham and West Ham reportedly interested in striking a deal. William Gallas admits that Conor Gallagher's departure from the club should be a cause for concern as the club looks to balance the books with Premier League profit and sustainability regulations. He told Gambling Zone, "Conor Gallagher's departure is another big worry for Chelsea. He is their vice-captain after Reece James and the only English player in the starting 11. Chelsea are clearly worried about profit and sustainability rules, but they should stop buying players instead of selling important players. They have a pretty big squad and they keep bringing in too many players. It's affecting the core of the team." Chelsea has reportedly opened up the opportunity to send Alfie Gilchrist on loan for the 2024-2025 season. Despite his status as one of the club's most prized academy prospects, Alfie Gilchrist entered last season without a single first-team appearance to his name. However, that changed under the direction of Mauricio Pochettino, who throughout the season had to fill his squad with young players due to persistent injury problems. Making 5 starts and 12 substitute appearances in all competitions, Gilchrist's best moment came when he scored the final goal in a 6-0 win over Everton in April. Although he made 17 appearances in total, the 20-year-old only managed 431 minutes, and regular playing time is needed to continue his development. For this reason, the Blues have reportedly opened up the opportunity to loan Gilchrist to another club this summer. Reporting from The Athletic, Preston North End is interested in recruiting Gilchrist on loan. Ryan Lowe's team usually plays with a 3-back formation, which allows Gilchrist to play in the middle or as a right wing-back if needed. Meanwhile, recently promoted to Serie A side Como are said to be open to adding Gilchrist to their squad for their first season back in the top flight. There is a relationship between Chelsea and Cesc Fabregas, who is the assistant to the Welsh coach, Ozian Roberts, and it looks like they can use this relationship to make Gilchrist's transfer happen.